Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am joining the machine Hughes. Joining me this week, we have stateside. We have Freya. Freya, how's it going?
Going great.
Going great, cool. And also joining us is random dude Josh. Josh, how's it going?
It's going. How are you guys?
I'm very well. I'm very, very well. It's a blowy Sunday evening. The rain is lashing my door. So. What better to do is talk comic books, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Unfortunately, we've picked some corkers this time, so we'll kick off with a book that's already out in the stores as we speak. It is The Curse of Brimstone. This is the annual that comes out. It's written by Mike Perkins with dialogue by Jordan. I assume that's the Jordan that's also the artist, Justin Jordan. Colors are by Rain Burdo. Inks are letters are Wes Abbott, and colors are by we've got a cover by Philip Tannenveredo as well. So, who wants to start us off?
I can, I guess.
Hey, Fred,
Yeah.
take it away.
All right. So I think a long time ago when we first did Brimstone, I said this about the artwork. I like it for the most part, but like with everything, I don't like how they draw his sister, because I was getting confused, like who Brimstone was and who his sister was, because they look exactly the same, and at least made them look slightly different. Like, I don't know, give her long hair or keep the short hair, or make her, have less freckles or different freckles or just something. They literally have the same face, and it bothers me. And but however, after that, other than that, pretty good. I like the artwork of the God of Carnage. I like how they did Constantine and Swamp Thing, and the river version of Brimstone. I don't even remember his name is, because I don't care. It was just kind of a silly story that I was like, all right, who is this person and why do I care? Oh, it's over. Okay. Why was all right then. Okay. So the whole thing, the artwork was good. First story was good, mostly because of Constantine hitting on everything. But yeah, after the first story though, my mind just, like, the artwork was different, not as good in my opinion. Like, it just wasn't my style. I did like how they did whatever his name, what is his name, Dietrich. I like how his design and everything, and the collection of skulls and body parts from after he's killed people and absorbed them. It was pretty cool. But the last story, honestly, I thought I was like reading a Joker story. I really thought it was Joker for the longest time. Like, why am I reading this? And then they had to bring Batman medals and the Bat Who Smiles or whatever. I don't understand why he's even in here. And the artwork really kind of bugged me. It seems sketchy. Like, when you're sketching in your art book, it felt like it was that type of style. It wasn't for me. And so, yeah, overall, I would say don't waste your money.
That is a curse word. Okay, money. Okay. All right, Josh, take it away. What do you think?
It was okay. I don't know about you guys, but I chuckled at Brimstone just happening to be a ginger.
Yeah.
I found that to be very humorous, that whenever he gets pissed and boom, here comes Brimstone. Kind of a ginger snap approach. Get it? Ginger snap. Yep. I went there. Constantine was, I enjoyed his dialogue, considering this is a very dialogue heavy book. I enjoyed the fact that he's kind of a jackass, and it made the book at least entertaining for the first story. I mean, when he walks into that room and says, "What the apparently literally bloody hell do you idiots think you're doing?" it was a great play on words.
You think?
Yeah, just a bit.
Okay.
I also liked the way they designed the God of Carnage, and then Swamp Thing's apparent arrival in it. It almost seemed like they just put him in just to put him in and jack people up. I don't know if
Totally
you
agree.
guys felt that way.
Totally agree.
Yeah, but I'm always happy to see Swamp Thing, so I can let it slide.
Fair enough. But yeah, the first story was entertaining. I did enjoy that. The second, yeah, I'm good. Like Freya said, after the first story, my brain was done. And then the third story, I'm not even. That was just a hodgepodge of, hey, let's just throw some crap together and try to make it a story.
It's a shame because the last story is by Dennis Cowan, and I really like Dennis Cowan normally. So he's as an artist and a storyteller, he works really well. But you're absolutely right. That third tale is like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find it a little bit. I find it a little bit off-putting that an annual has to have that many different stories. It's kind of like if the main story was good enough to be just a regular issue, I'm paying extra money for the 2 throw-ons that don't actually add anything to this book. So, from a reader point of view, you might feel a bit gypped by that. You see what I'm getting at? If the first story is like 22 pages, then just put it out as a regular issue.
Yeah, it's kind of like buying a music album where you only want maybe 1 or 2 songs, but they force you to buy the whole album just for those 1 or 2 songs.
Definitely.
Come back to iTunes.
Yeah, I still buy CDs. Fair enough. So for me, I find that annuals can be a bit hit and miss. I think sometimes you do get artists and writers on annuals that are looking for a regular gig, so this is their chance to impress. I don't mind that so much. What I mind is having to pay top dollar for it, so which kind of irks me a little bit. So Curse of Brimstone, I'm going to be honest, I've never read the book at all in any shape, way or form. I have no idea who these characters are. The art reminds me a lot like Tom Mandrake and Michael Netzer from a while back, which is fine. I mean, I like Tom Mandrake. His stuff's good, and Netzer's stuff's good on Batman back in the day. But the writing, the dialogue, oh man, spend so much time explaining stuff that's going on in the panel. So there's a bit where Constantine comes up to a machine. He goes, this machine, I will turn it on and it will do this. And that's what it does in the picture. Like, dude, I can see, you don't have to explain absolutely everything to me. It's just a little bit too functional for its own good. It's like early on, it's like, wait, there's a man standing in the way. Yes, I can see. That's in the panel. Thanks. It's I don't know. What I will say is this book's getting cancelled for after issue 12.
Can I cheer? Go yay!
Giggity.
As a range of new age of heroes. So here's a quick question for you. That's a bit of a left field question. Has the new age of heroes actually worked for DC?
No.
Such a long pause, drawn out. No. Great. Okay. Freya, what do you think?
I think no. I mean, they're good ideas, but poorly executed. It's just like Brimstone, great idea, kind of feels Ghost Rider-y though. But it had potential, but the execution was bad, and the art, like the facial things were bad. You didn't really care about the characters. It's just, like I said, bad execution, good idea. And then Damage, honestly, that was too similar to Hulk, and I didn't like the Hulk anyway, so that had zero appeal to me. Cool. And then Immortal Man, and then it's just the only one that I really liked that they're not gonna continue was the Imaginary Fiends. I wanted that to continue. But other than that, don't like any of the other new heroes. They just didn't work.
So I suppose for me, the Terrifics worked for a while. Other than that, I didn't really. It's like they were too similar to the Marvel versions. You know, you had like the Spider Clone, you had there's Ghost Rider, you had the Hulk in there. It was just a little bit too samey. And would Brimstone worked have better as a Vertigo book by itself?
Yes.
As should Constantine still be a Vertigo book outside of Justice League Dark?
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have a dedicated Constantine book, yeah, keep it in Vertigo. Unless, as Johnny, as you said, unless you're going to have a dedicated Justice League Dark miniseries, at that point, yes, go ahead and bring him in. But aside from that, keep it in Vertigo.
Yeah, there's just certain characters and certain stories and plot points and whatnot that you have to keep in the an adult setting. Otherwise, it comes off as just campy and weird and stupid.
It comes off as Scooby-Doo-ish.
Yeah, it comes too Scooby-Doo. And so they need to be in Vertigo because they're dealing with like demons and stuff like that. You really need the dark stuff to be dark. Like Batman's okay because it's Batman and he's always been kind of campy and weird sometimes. But like Constantine and the other Vertigo titles, it would just be really weird if they tried to make them appropriate for like teens and younger. It doesn't work.
So Zatanna, Vertigo character or hero character?
I love both versions of her, but I would prefer the Vertigo version.
Me too. Totally get that. I think probably Batman's the only character that can really cross over to both worlds. Every time I see Swamp Thing in a superhero book, it just baffles my head. And I am reading Justice League Dark, and I think every time I have such high hopes for it, I flick through it, read it, and at the end of it, I'm always like, could have been so much better. Could have been actually darker as opposed to just being like a Justice League book with all the different types of characters in.
Wonder Woman still feels out of place.
Definitely.
Justice League. I know they're really trying to put her in there, but she's so out of place, it distracts everything.
Yeah.
Even Detective Pip makes more sense than her being in Justice League.
Man-Bat makes more sense than her being.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
But he's there to be Scully, isn't he? Man-Bat's in Justice League Dark to be Scully. Oh, imagine all the science instead of all the magic. Oh, whatever. All right, Scully, don't believe. It's fine. Okay. Next up is issue 2 of 12-issue maxi series, Freedom Fighters, written by Robert Venditti, art by Eddie Barrows, inks by, I can't say this, Urba Ferreira, maybe. Colors by Adriana Lucas, and letters by Darren Bennett. Josh, this is your call. Would you like to take it away?
I would. Let's just say if you're looking for an action-packed book, you're going to get it from Freedom Fighters. I love the action in this. It was, every panel was, in my opinion, very well done. This world that they've created, I'm probably even more intrigued after reading issue 2 than I was reading issue 1, and I liked issue 1. So here we are, obviously 2 issues in. I'm still interested in how this is going. I mean, it was just a very well done book, and it's kind of a relief for DC to have something new and fresh that's going to keep you interested. You talk about this new age of heroes, and does it work in this scenario? Because it's new characters, it's working.
Are they really new characters, or are they just new characters to some people?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
I don't know. The alternate universe, it kind of has that Watchmen feel that Zack Snyder hasn't touched.
All right, okay, get that, yeah.
So an alternate, taking history, tweaking it just a little bit, and that's the world that we have, and they're doing well so far. So I hope for the remaining 10 issues that they keep this momentum going, or I'm going to be really pissed off.
Okay, there you go. Freya, what did you think? Freedom Fighters number 2.
Okay. Freedom Fighters. So, I always enjoy these like alternate reality things where something in World War II or World War I slightly deviates and then everything's different. I always like those types of storylines. That's why I like Fallout so much. But and the artwork's really good. I tried to nitpick it and didn't really find anything. So it's really, really good artwork. The characters are they do remind me of other characters and whatnot, or they're not exactly the newest characters, but I'm enjoying it. And I would say to readers, if you really want to enjoy it like 100 times better, you need to have the America Fuck Yeah song going on the entire time reading.
How's that go?
Has
Freya?
that
Go on, sing
so
that
to
first.
Yeah, it makes it so much better when you just have that playing in the background while you're reading it. That's awesome. So, it is fun. If you're not really into overly patriotic things, it's not for you though. Which, yeah.
Okay.
So
cool. So the characters in Freedom Fighters are all DC characters. Uncle Sam's been around a while. Black Condor has had a couple of mini series. Phantom Lady was last in Birds of Prey. Back before, I think it was New 52. She was in there, which was probably her last appearance. So all these characters are kind of extrapolations on their previous DC selves. So you could argue that there's a lack of originality in there, but the Freedom Fighters were from an alternative Earth. They were in Justice League America way back when. I'm talking like in probably around the 70s numbers, not the 70 years. So they've got some history, to say the least. Venditti, I think he excels at this sort of stuff. If you've been reading what he's been doing with Hawkman, just kind of like slowly building up that whole crescendo for Cater, whichever one you want to call him. And Eddie Barrows, whose work we've seen previously on Nightwing, his artwork in this book is so much better than his Nightwing stuff. I don't understand why Barrows isn't on a really big book right now, because I think some of as I think you said, Josh, the action in this book is like from panel 1 to the last panel on page 22. It's like all the way through. So if you're looking for a continuation of characterization from the last issue, you ain't going to get it. But I guess this issue is a direct response to issue 1, because issue 1 set up the world, and this is the first time that the world kicks back a little bit, I guess. So I'd like to see a couple of quieter issues down the line, issue 3 or 5, maybe taking time to restock and understand. And of course, Uncle Sam is still missing, although there's a twinkle in a lamppost that seems to get a little bit of attention there for some reason or another. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it's a really good book, and who doesn't want this book, right?
It's definitely worth the money.
Definitely.
I would say that if you're looking for a new series, this is a good one to go to. Okay,
then without spoilers for later on in the episode, if you had a choice between spending, you're down to your last $3.99, I'd have to say $4.99 now. Your choices are the latest issue of Freedom Fighters, or the latest issue of Heroes in Crisis, or the latest issue of the Doomsday Clock. Which one do you put your money on?
Can we answer that later?
All right, we can. We will come back to that. Freya, you've got time to start thinking. So, while you're thinking about that, we get to your choice, which for some inexplicable reason is Teen Titans Annual, written by Adam Glass. So this is one of those like 2-for-1 deals. So you've got the first, both stories written by Adam Glass. The first story is drawn by Ryan Benjamin, with inks by Richard Friend, colors by Hi-Fi, and letters by Rob Lee. Second story has all of the above on, apart from the artist, who is Jose Luis, and inks by Jordi Tarragona. If I've got it wrong, sue me. It's fine. I'm British.
Yeah.
Freya, Teen Titans Annual. And God have mercy on your soul for making me read this. All right, off you go.
So I actually quite enjoyed it. I liked both stories. The artwork, honestly, I liked it, even though it was kind of like not usually my thing.
You cannot say that. You can't say that. There's a panel there with Robin, sort of like spread eagle thing. I looked at that panel. I was like, Freya's gonna have kittens.
Okay, fine. Okay. All right. You want me to nitpick? I'm gonna nitpick. So, page 9, panel Robin jumping up in the air. Whole lot of issues. It looks awful. Has a little like crotch loincloth thing going on. It's awful. It looks bad. He kind of looks like he's wearing hooker shoes too. So there. Happy, Johnny? Happy?
Very much so. Yes. That's the phrase that I know and love so much. Yes.
Okay.
Robin in hooker boots.
Also on the same page, his face gets like a little bit awkward looking when Red Hood grabs his hand. It's on the very Damien looking face. He also gets a Joker looking face on page 10. He gets chubby all of a sudden on page 11. You want me to keep going, Johnny? You really want me?
No, I'll let you go there.
Okay, I'm gonna end it with page 12 when he gets the thing smacked out of his hands. It's so like newspaper comic-y in the artwork on page 12. All right, I'm done now. Page 12, newspaper. Okay. Other than that, I was gonna not touch on those because I was gonna, Other than that, like before the fight scene, the artwork's pretty good. There is no main issues except for Damien's. Like they were trying to cover the faces, but they did at least a good job at doing that for a reason. And I wish they would stop trying to tie in all of these event books to all the other books that shouldn't, like, because Heroes in Crisis, they had to bring that in now. I'm like, okay, just really, okay, whatever. But other than that, like, I enjoyed the fight with Damien and Red Hood, and I like just the whole thing. I always enjoy when Damien's acting like a little brat with the other, I guess his older brothers, I should say, because it makes me happy, especially since it's Red Hood getting punched in the face with electricity. But it was nice. It was interesting. I had fun reading it, and that's kind of what I go into with these Teen Titan books. Is it's going to be fun and teeny boppery. The second story, I don't know why we have a Christmas story going on, and it's January, but whatever.
Maybe it's a Christmas sale.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. And then this guy, this guy's name it just made me giggle, like Joystick, and I'm like, oh god.
Keep it clean. Kids listen to this.
You never touch a man's joystick. I'm like, only if they really like you. Anyway, like,
what if you want to bash the buttons?
How you know the guy likes you. Anyway, just I actually kind of like the dorky kid, even though his name is awful. I quite like him as a villain. It's weird, but it was entertaining. Get a little bit more back on Jin. She's slowly becoming my favorite Teen Titan. Which is not with the old ones though, because Starfire and Raven are obviously gonna stay up there. But I enjoyed it. They give out like she has a dark secret, which everyone, of course, we know, and they're building up a weird love triangle between her, and she's obsessed with Damien, and then I just crushes in love with her, and so there's this like awkward love triangle going on. Which if Jen only thinks about Robin, then how can they know that she likes Crush? Because he's the only thing she thinks about. The whole thing's silly, but I'm enjoying it. I like those types of things. I don't know. And I like how this story seems to have connected with the first story, because Robin's gotten his crap beaten out of him from Red Hood. So I did like how they actually kind of like. Meanwhile, the Teen Titans are doing this. Robin's getting his trash kicked by Nightwing, or not Nightwing, Red Hood. So I did like how they actually connected them, and they weren't like they were two completely separate stories, but they're not. They connect at the end. So that's what I liked about it the most.
Do you think that Jin and her dark secret and her is it not just a rip off Raven down the line?
Yeah, but there's a lot of characters who have dark secrets. Like, it's if you're gonna go down the line saying, well, this person has a dark secret too, and this person has a dark secret, we'd be here all day. Like, this one first.
Isn't that the entire Bat family?
Yeah, that's just everything that has to do with DC Comics. Let's just put reality out there.
Just the way that she's her power levels are growing and so on. It does remind me of Raven. I'm not gonna beat around the bush there, but we'll see how it plays out, I guess. Josh, are you a Teen Titans Go kind of guy, or is a Teen Titans No Way?
I enjoyed the annual. It was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed the fight between Red Hood and Damien. Damien's become one of my favorite Robins. He doesn't care. At the end of the day, he has the mindset that I'm right. I'm the heir to the Bat mantle. I don't care about you other people. But yet, to a degree, he does, or else he wouldn't do 90% of what he does. I hadn't realized that they made his boots look like hooker boots until Freya pointed it out ever so eloquently. But there were some art issues, but for the most part, I enjoyed that story. And then with Joystick, I mean, that was just downright fun. Even to have Roundhouse make fun of him for his name. And this coming from a guy named Roundhouse. I don't know why that panel was so fun, but it was. He didn't care. He's like, I'm going to tell it like it is. Mm-hmm. So, the Crush stuff, didn't really care so much about that, but I was also just still kind of enjoying the Robin Red Hood story. So I enjoyed it for what it was.
Okay.
And, yeah.
I don't get it. I was looking forward to this fight. It's Damian Wayne, trained by the League of Assassins, trained by Batman, against Jason Todd. There is no way Damian loses this fight. It gets to the point now where Damian is so depowered. It's what happened to Cassandra Cain back when she was Batgirl. She was so great at fighting, but every issue used to get beat. It's like the idea that he's all this trained up to the high hilt, it matters not one jot. Because if Red Hood could beat him, then who else? Who can't beat him is the question. Damian Wayne's supposed to be all this, but really he's not, is he? He keeps getting beat up, and I'm thinking, well, you talk about being smart, and you think, well, if you're smart, you wouldn't get yourself caught up in the fight. You wouldn't lose that fight to Red Hood in any shape, way, or form. You wouldn't.
I mean, it was more of like they were trying to make a joke on the cape thing. I'm like, realistically, the cape could have been. Yeah. It could be to his advantage, also. Yeah. You know, if but they decided to make it a joke. It kind of got weird at the end because I agree with you on one. It did kind of get weird at the end because I was like, no, Damien would have totally. If Damien could take on Slade by himself, he can take on Red Hood.
Exactly. So that whole idea about pulling his tunic to show a bomb, Damian Wayne would just stab him, wouldn't he? It just
but then that wouldn't meet the quota of an annual that it has to be so many pages.
But then,
sure.
But fine, you can build up to that moment, that final moment where the bridge is torn between them. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Robin beating Red Hood at all. No one says that Red Hood has to win every single fight. No one says that Robin has to lose. All right, so he's a kid, but he's a trained assassin kid. He should be able to hold his own in this. As you say, Freya, he's gone up against Slade and won. This time round, it's kind of, I just don't get it. I really don't, because I think to myself, well, it's his book. He's the character. It's his book. If he should be winning this fight, leaving Jason Todd impaled into a car door, and it should be him walking away saying, next time you contact me, Todd, I'm not going to listen, and then leaving it like that, not the other way around. I don't know. To me, it doesn't. I mean, fair enough. I'm not the world's greatest Jason Todd fan, and everyone knows that. But the idea that he can beat the Damian Wayne Robin, come on, no. The second story was just too chaotic for me, and I've talked about Jin being Raven. Although, of course, all you CW fans, we all know that a certain Red Arrow is going to start making her appearance again in the TV show, so you never know what's happening with DC Comics. There'll be more focus on Emiko. You never know. Yeah. Nobody watches Arrow on CW?
I got bored of the ads. If I want, just too many workout montages. I just got bored.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Like I love my half-naked men as much as any other woman who's into men, or men who's into men. But there's a limit. I get bored otherwise. Like, that's nice. Moving on. Unless you're gonna take your pants off, I'm done. Got nothing else to show. I'm bored now. Let's move on.
See, there's shafts and quiver jokes all around now, but I'm going to leave them alone. All right, okay.
I would say if you want to hear my thoughts about Arrow, listen to the Dynamic Convergence.
All right, okay. Good plug. Excellent. All right, so the last book up this time around is the 5th issue of Heroes in Crisis. Who wants to take this one first?
I can do it.
Whoa, easy there, Tigers. Freya.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know if it's just me, but I still have no freaking idea what's going on in issue 5. So, okay, it feels like we're still at a standstill on issue 5 again. Except we know that Lois and Clark have a very active sex life, even with their super hearing-powered son. So that poor child's going to need some serious time at Sanctuary, but because no one wants to hear their parents go at it. I did enjoy the artwork. The artwork's always been fantastic. There's nitpicking that I can do. Where was it? Well, not necessarily on the artwork. I just liked everything about the artwork. I like the colors. I like the shading. I like how everything looks like latexy. Mm-hmm. And I like when a Batgirl has her hand on her hip, you can actually see the divots of where her fingers are. It's just, the attention to detail is great in this book, and I absolutely adore it for it. However, once again, the story seems to be like at a standstill. I like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold's whole interaction and like their conversation about what they're going to do and to get the information. They're going to do the same thing they did before, because who would think that someone would be stupid enough to do the same thing before they failed a second time in a row, But I enjoyed that. I like Harley Quinn's team up with Batgirl. However, I don't know if it's just me, but did anyone notice like the awkward, like grammatically Batgirl was on page 7 when she's talking to Batman, where she keeps repeating "at my place, at my place, at my place, at my place." I'm like, is this a freaking robot? Where the heck? Like, who says
I think
this at my place that many times in the
Yeah.
same like conversation?
I think it's
The
kind
only person that would trump that would be the immortal Iron Fist in Marvel.
I would say it's an inflection, given the idea that she's trying to con him. You know, she's trying to make sure that he knows that it's at her place. It's kind of like the big con, because they're going nowhere near her place at all.
Yeah,
but
it's Batman. He would know. Like, unless the next book has him popping up and like breaking up their lovely little, conversation. It's not.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So overall, I like it. I would buy all of them. So.
Okay, so just to do the credits, it's written by Tom King, art by Clay Mann, letters Clayton Cowles. There you go. Josh, you're up.
I've enjoyed this story, and I know I've said that before in this show, and I'm sticking to that. To be honest, I'm still kind of annoyed that Superman spilled the beans to Lois. I still feel like he kind of betrayed all the superheroes in the universe. I mean, that was their place, as he said in his statement, that's their place to kind of process everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's giving his public statement, because he's concerned that now the public are afraid of them. Well, no shit. You're the one that spilled the beans, you dumbass. Like, that's what you get. And I'm like, I was annoyed by that whole public statement, and I was hoping in a perfect world situation that during that Wonder Woman would have punched him in the side of the head, knocked his ass out, and said, "This is our thing. He ruined it for us. Hate him." And then we would get Injustice 3.
Wonder Woman would be on the other side. That would be awesome, actually.
That would be a great story. And if Ed Boon is listening, now you got the idea of what to do.
Yeah. Be awesome.
Right, TDC.
Again, I never liked Superman, so yeah.
So you would totally be okay with that scene of Superman, Wonder Woman at the pulpit giving this message, and she just decks him, completely blindsides him.
I would set it on my wall. That'd be awesome.
And then the title could be Injustice 3, Sanctuary.
Yeah. It'd be
Send
great.
the royalty checks to.
Oh my god. Cool.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Cool. All right. So for me, I kind of agree with everybody. It's another great issue. The story, I think, has the sort of punch that both Metals and Doomsday Clock has been lacking. We finally get another little hint. Booster tells Blue that the body was 5 days too old or whatever. And I'm like thinking, please don't let this be time travel. I swear to God, if there's a time travel reset button, I will be pissed off. I want a genuine mystery to be solved. None of this press a button and everything goes back the way it was. If that happens, I will be very, very disappointed, and I expect more out of Tom King. On the flip of that, who wouldn't buy a Girly Bat and Harley Quinn book right now?
If they're designed as they are in this book, I would.
I would totally buy it. I'm absolutely loving their little relationship. The The 9-panel page, which we're so used to by now, works so well. Booster's explanation on the mark on his glasses, brilliant. Although a bit of a recap. And I hate Harley Quinn almost as much as I hate Jason Todd. But her 9-panel page at the back of this book, I just sat and I read it and I just thought about it. And I was like, it was absolutely brilliant. It just shows you so much about her relationship with Mr. J. It shows you what she's been through the ringer, and it's, I don't know, it just said so much. The art was perfect. The emotions on show were perfect. It was just a really good panel, a really good page. I think it worked really well. It shows why people do need a sanctuary, whether you be a superhero or whether you just be a normal run-of-the-mill person down the line. The art's gorgeous. I loved the Lois. There's going to be a train somewhere, so come and hold me until that happens. So I like that whole idea, and that she knows that she's only got him for a little bit before he has to speed off like a speeding bullet and all that sort of stuff. So who do you think did it? Who is? What's
Man.
happened? Do we care yet? Do we have thoughts?
I don't know.
Okay. I thought that I'll tell you my theory and then you can go from there and see what happens. I thought, when Booster's in there the first time and he goes in and gets a simulacrum of himself to talk to, yeah, and then things go Pete Tong. I think Sanctuary created some replicas of all the heroes, and it's those that are being killed, not the actual heroes. The actual heroes are still wherever they are, wherever they're being put in storage or whatever. That's what I think's happened.
Think they're being cloned and that they're being kidnapped?
Maybe not so much that, but in the issue where Booster enters, he's talking to the androids, and he says you can see whatever you want to see, and they make they make this whole idea that Lagoon Boy can see what he wants to do and so on, and Booster, being Booster, creates a version of himself to talk to. So at that point, you've got two Boosters. All we know is that one of the Boosters committed all the crimes. If it's not our Booster, then that has to be the replica Booster.
That would be better. That would be better than a time traveling.
And that could explain some of the age discrepancy in some of the characters, because they're not real characters. They are
clones,
simulations of real characters. That's what I think down the line. But hey ho, I don't write comic books. But if I am right, sorry, Tom King. Really sorry, mate.
I did like the picture of Jason Todd as Robin with the Joker silhouette in the background.
To be fair, that out of the two covers, that's the best one. I know Trevor Hairsine did the Superman cover, and I've seen his work before on Divinity over in Vertigo, and his work normally is really, really good. I'm not keen on his Superman cover. Don't know why it is. Freya, you're our art specialist. What do you think of the cover of this with the Superman cover? Did it any issues for you?
It wasn't for me. Like,
why does his boots look like they're elf boots?
That, yeah.
Because Robin took the hooker ones. Boom.
I don't like his face either. His face is kind of, it's there, but it kind of seems non-existent at the same time. It's kind of weird looking. Does that make sense? Because I'm looking at it and his face is just kind of, it looks like it's been kind of blurred. Anyway, but yeah, I don't like the cover.
Fair enough. Well argued. Well said. Yeah, no, I see where you're getting at. It's very much because the structure of the face is there, but none of the details. Yeah. He's got no eyes, for example. So it's as if something's lacking there somewhere, but it's fine.
Kind of weird considering the focus. So it's just...
Maybe that's because it's supposed to be backlighted. I don't know. But back to my question I posted earlier. You're down to your last $5. Which book do you buy? Heroes, Doomsday, or Freedom Fighters? Josh.
You
thought I'd forgotten, hadn't you?
No. Damn. Because I'm torn between Heroes in Crisis and Freedom. Freedom Fighters #2. I would have to go with Heroes in Crisis.
Oh.
Just with it being a mainline book and having all the characters of all your main characters in DC, I would go with that. And I would go specifically for not the Superman cover, but the Robin cover.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's tying back to A Death in the Family with Jason Todd. He's in the classic Robin costume. And that's what I would go with. And they got the crowbar, which, side note, did you notice that Red Hood used a crowbar against Damien?
Yeah.
I found that to be funny as hell.
He's been carrying that crowbar for a while, but yeah, it is.
Well, I can't imagine why he wouldn't be carrying a crowbar. I mean, he got to meet one with his face.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah.
Freya, what do you think?
I mean-
You're down to your last 5 books. What do you do?
Heroes and
Oh,
No
Heroes.
question.
No
Yeah.
question. Oh.
Freedom Fighters is fun, but I'm not one of the overly patriotic people. Like, it's fun to read.
All right.
But if I had to choose, definitely Heroes in Crisis. And Doomsday Clock is just, I mean, I kind of lost interest in it. It just kind of died on me. So, yeah.
Is that where
And-
Is that what everyone feels like about Doomsday? Has the Doomsday Clock ran out? Are we just not that bothered anymore?
Well, there's a reason why the rest of the issues haven't come out.
Are we? Is it delayed again? When is it? Number 9 should be out, shouldn't it? So let's have a quick check.
Should.
Doom,
But it's been how long?
Feels like forever.
let me just check for you whilst we make small talk. Number 9. Number 9 is
February 20th.
yeah. So actually, yeah, February 20th. Yeah. So it does feel like that's longer than 2 months
Yeah.
since the last one. But there's been some interesting covers kicking about. There's one with the Legionnaire ring on it. So could that be the Legion coming back? Who knows? Does anyone care?
Not really.
I'm
I think at this point we're all at the point of we're ready for the Doomsday Clock to end.
yeah.
And everyone just explode and that be the end. Just, the whole world blows up and they all die.
Just Mr. Manhattan farts and everyone dies.
Exactly. He just shows up and everyone dies. The end. It's over.
So let me just double check. So 9's due out in February. Funnily enough, number 10 is due out in March. So that would indicate the March 27th. So that would indicate that February's issue is actually delayed. It should have been out maybe a little bit earlier than this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like March is going to get delayed then too.
Sorry? Yeah.
The March
yeah.
issue get delayed.
The great cover on the March one, but never mind. Okay, on that note, it's all that's left for me to say is thanks for Freya and Josh for joining us again for another episode. Don't forget to check out UCPN for all your other podcasting needs, including No Price Podcast, The Flipside Focus, and of course the new Welcome Back to the Fold, TDC2, where we talk about everything Marvel and DC in comparison. All right, go check them out. Thanks, guys.
Bye.